Straight Talk with your host Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, Simply Straight Talk.
Hey, Simply Straight Talk family. Welcome to the Simply Straight Talk Show, where every topic is a hot topic, and hot topics are all about that real talk. Now here's your host, Reggie.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show. What's up, people? What's up? Listen, today we want to talk about listening to other people is draining, because it is. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there right now who can relate to this discussion. You can relate to what I'm talking about, because sometimes you got those people that you just feel drained. You feel empty after a conversation. And you know what? I don't think we realize how that really affects us when we go through our day. Because we consider it normal, just listen to other people. We let people talk. We let them say what they want to say. And we don't consider how we feel emotionally. How does it impact us? How do we impact other people? And that's what we want to talk about today. Because when you think about it now, just think about the people you talk to on a daily basis. Think about the people that you want to talk to. Think about the people you try to avoid. But the thing about it is, with this country being consumed in just fierce political games and political battles, we got heated social issues going on, and not to mention the problems we all face in our own lives. It can be hard to feel at peace or even just positive in your own little small corner of the world. You can't take peace on the job. You don't have peace on the ride home. You go out for a walk, you go to exercise, you're still thinking about a conversation or something somebody had or something on the news. And then all of a sudden you get home to where you're supposed to have peace at, either with your husband, with your wife, with the kids, with the family, and you still are not finding that peace. And that's what we want to talk about today. But we want to talk more so about how other people communication with you, how other people can leave you feeling drained, like you got a heavy weight on your shoulder. And it's just a conversation, because it's difficult for anyone to escape being influenced. Every time you have a conversation with somebody, if it's positive, that's good, because you get that positive influence from it. If it's a negative conversation, you're still going to have that little bit of negativity that sort of kind of rides along with you, because it's all around us. The news is supposed to provide us with, factual. The news is supposed to provide us with factual, informative information. But it has now become a major influence in people's lives. And that works the same when it comes to the people you talk to daily. Their problems, when they're telling you about their problems, they're telling you about their issues. Some people, you hear a person tell you the same problem all day, every day. Every time you talk to them, they're telling you about the same thing, the same problem. That's what you're hearing. And it does affect you. It does have an influence on your life. It affects you. It affects your mood. It affects how you feel, how you think. In today's world, it's exceedingly difficult to deny the existence, as well as how receptive we have all become to increasing participation in meanness. We have. And we pass along the negative emotions. Somebody mad at somebody, they come run and tell you. A family member says somebody else did something, they come run and tell you. Stuff on the job, they come run and tell you. You go out to eat, the waitress telling you about something going on at the job. You go to the store just to buy something from the counter, and the guy at the counter or the woman at the counter telling you how much they hate their job. They telling you about bad customers. You like, listen, I just came in here to buy me a Pepsi Mango drink. That's all I wanted. I just wanted a Pepsi Mango. I didn't know I had to find out about your customers, about your manager, how y'all out of stock of stuff, how they don't provide y'all with the right software for your cash register. I mean, you got to hear all of this stuff, and it doesn't really affect you. But it does rub off on you. It rubs off on you. Now, the thing about it is, when you're getting all this stuff dumped on you, what do you do with it? What do you do with it when all this stuff is getting dumped on you? When everybody's dumping their problems on you, everybody's venting to you, everybody's telling you everything that's wrong in their life, it is all getting dumped on you. And sometimes it's just out of the blue. You just say hey to somebody and all of a sudden they telling you how they lost their job. They telling you how their kids are acting up. You know, it's like you're getting a constant dump of problems. It's constant. And all these negative emotions, and then you start to feel negative. You could have been in a good mood, had a positive outlook, but slowly you either start to get worn down or you start to feel like there's a weight on your shoulder. Now you're starting to feel heavy. You're starting to get a little headache. You're starting to feel tired. You feel drained. And your day just started. You had to be at work at 7:30. It's 7:35 and you already drained. You know, it's hard to avoid all of this stuff. But that's why we want to talk about it today, because a lot of people don't realize the amount of negative communication that they get every day, how that communication is coming into their life. Now, if you find yourself stuck in a negative conversation at work or at home, don't be afraid to take a step back and realize that you have the power to turn things around. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't do when they get in these negative conversations. They either focusing so hard on trying to give that person an answer or trying to find that person a resource, and they're focusing so hard on them that now they're getting stressed. You got anxiety over something you can't even control. You're not even a decision maker in the process, and you have an anxiety about it. You wake up the next day, well, I sure hope, you're thinking about, I hope they got that loan, or I hope they got their car fixed, or I hope their child did good in school. First thing you do when you see that person, I've been thinking all day about how this happened. Did everything go okay? And you hoping they say, yeah, but then they dump a whole nother story on top of that story on you. So now you're the one dealing with all of this from other people. You're dealing with it. So in this episode, I want to discuss how other people's conversations can impact your day, not just in the moment you're having the conversation, but with your family and friends also. And I want to, and I got to say, let's start with some examples of how these draining conversations can cause havoc on your well-being. Now, before we get started, I want you to understand that I'm not saying you should avoid people, never talk to people, never listen to people, don't assist people. But what I want to get you to understand by the time we get to the end of this episode and you hear the whole thing is that you have an idea and some tips and techniques on understanding how to balance what comes with dealing with people and their negativity and their conversations and their problems when they're looking to dump and vent that stuff. I want you to understand how to balance that. Some of the stuff I'm going to say, you probably not going to like, but I'm telling you right now, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. But this is Straight Talk, baby. This ain't nothing but real talk on Straight Talk. So first, I want to go over 3 situations that I think pretty much cover everybody, because I want to make this relatable to everybody so everybody understands what I'm saying when I talk about people dumping conversations on you. Now, let's start with on the job. Now, one thing you'll find on jobs is when you got people who have worked at a job for a long time, and some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You go in there thinking, well, this is what we're doing today. This is where the company trying to go. But you got those people, those coworkers that's complaining about problems and people from 10 and 15 years ago. They still talking about people that's no longer there. How this person affected the department, how this person caused this amount of problems, how this person did this person was messing around with that person made that manager do this, that person became a supervisor because of this. All of this stuff that happened 10 and 15 or 5 years ago, hell, if it happened last year, They are dumping all that on you now. And you listening to it, and it gets to the point where you confused yourself. You starting to think, well, do they still work here? Did they transfer departments? What's going on? But you got people that's like that they will complain about stuff that happened 10 and 15 years ago, people that's no longer on the job, but they want to dump all of these problems and try to make it relevant now when it's totally irrelevant, and it has no place. Then you got the co-workers that like to complain about every single thing, about the job, about the work task, about the duties, what they got to do. It's a job. They complain about, well, this person don't like to talk to nobody. This person, we go out to lunch, they don't go to lunch with us. This person act like they too good, or this person act like they trying to do all that. They doing too much. And all of a sudden you get drawn into that. And you like, listen, I'm just coming here to get my check and go home. I want to do what I got to do for these 8, 10, or 12 hours, and I want to go home. I'm not here for all that complaining. But you get caught up in that. And when you see these people, now you're starting to have a perception about them based on what that person said. Because these people keep talking about all this, and you don't know what to believe. So now you find yourself thinking about something that don't even really relates to you. That's what happens on the job. That's that negative stuff on the job. You got people on the job who will talk to you about their problems at home. Ongoing. Just every time you see them, it's something wrong with their life. If it ain't the husband, it's the girlfriend, the kids. They crying at work. They always upset, something wrong. And they dumping all this on you. But then let's talk about family members next. You got family members who will complain about each other. The cousin complain about the aunt complain about the uncle complain about the nieces and nephews, the sister complain about the brother complaining about the sister, grandma complaining about the other grandma, in-laws complain about the other in-laws. Everybody calling each other, griping and complaining. And you're like, you telling me this, why don't you tell them that? When they was on the phone, why didn't you tell them when you was on the phone with them? But that's just more people dumping and venting on you. Now, next you got friends. Friends will call you, they'll complain about their relationships. They'll complain about their jobs. They'll complain about their personal issues. And you got some friends that no matter what, 365 days a year, every day they got something that's going on that's negative. Something's wrong. Some people, they got 2 stories or 3 stories a day. But there's always something wrong. But because you're that person that they feel will listen, or you're the person you feel like, oh, well, they'll say something to me, or they'll be my cheerleader, they keep calling, they keep dumping it on you. And you just keep on listening. Now, in hearing this, you will probably say, well, that's what a good friend does. Well, as a coworker, you're supposed to help each other. You don't turn your back on people. And family is supposed to be there for each other. You may feel like that. You may feel like, I stand by people. I don't turn my back on people. Well, that's fine. But let me ask you this. Well, that's fine. But let me ask you this. Are they engaging you for a solution-based conversation? Or are they just repeating the same problem they told you about last week and the week before? Are they actually looking for solutions, or are they just venting and talking just to talk? See, the problem with all this is when these people dump all this stuff on you and they're not looking for answers, they're not looking for solutions, they're leaving all that weight on you. And what do? You call your husband. He's having a good day, but he got to listen to you rant for 30, 40 minutes about somebody he don't even know, a person you barely know, about problems that neither one of y'all can fix. You got husbands do the same thing with their wives. They hear this mess out on the streets or from one of their boards, and they call their wife, they call their girlfriend, and they dumping it on them. She planning a nice romantic evening when you get home. She thinking about she just want to get home and be with her man. But now she don't know what type of mood you in because you all upset over something that don't even concern you. So that's why we got to have this conversation today. That's why we got to talk about this today, because a lot of people are going throughout their day and actually being engaged in negative conversations because other people are dumping their stuff on them and they're taking all this stuff home. They're calling their wives, they're calling their husbands. You got sisters that's calling their brothers, trying to dump a bunch of stuff on them. So you passing all this along, but there's no solution-based discussions taking place. Nobody's trying to fix things, and the person that's calling, dumping all this stuff is surely not trying to fix it. But I'm gonna give you some help tips to help you fix it so you don't have to deal with it. Or if you do deal with it, how to get rid of it as soon as it hits you. Y'all stay tuned, baby. You right here on the Simply Straight Talk Show.
We'll be back with your host, Reggie, on Simply Straight Talk.
RM Viaging is a company based on life's journey and sharing life lessons with the world in the form of laughter and reflection, inspiring people to go after their dreams and not giving up on life. RM Viaging creates inspirational music and motivational speeches designed to motivate all age groups. Visit our website at www.rmviaging.com to hear samples of our music. You will also find motivational articles on our blog page titled New Life, New Mind Blog. We also have a weekly podcast hosted by Reggie called Simply Straight Talk, all on our website at www.rmviaging.com.
We hope you're enjoying the show. As our listeners, this show is made possible because of your support. Make sure you click the subscribe button and leave a comment. Thank you for being a part of the show, and now back to your host, Reggie Maddox.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the second half of today's show. And today we're talking about listening to people and how draining it can be talking to some people because their conversations are negative. They always got a problem, or it's the same problem they keep reliving, and they feel like they just got to share it with you every single time you talk. No matter how good the conversation may start, they roll right back into that old conversation about the same problem that you done told them every which way you could how to fix it. You done gave them recommendations. You done gave them suggestions, and they just still keep bringing up the same problem. That's what we're talking about today. How it's draining, how it impacts you and your life, the people around you. Now, another important fact that I wish I would have mentioned it in the beginning of the show is the important thing here is we're not trying to shut people out. If a person needs someone to talk to, I think it's good to offer yourself to be able to be an ear to that person and to be able to allow yourself to hear someone, because sometimes we do have people that are going through a crisis, a traumatic event to where they're just hurting. But the key thing is knowing how to direct that person to solution-based options that's going to really help them, because they can keep reliving a terrible moment in their mind with you. But if the conversation is not becoming solution-based where they're moving past that situation, it's becoming pointless. You're going to get frustrated because you're going to get tired of hearing it. They love talking about it. They're not doing anything about it. And you're sick of it. You're sick of hearing it. And you're just like, no. But you don't want to be rude. You don't want to be disrespectful. And you don't want to really just shut somebody down. Because truth be told, if we're going to keep it 100, most of the time, we really want to tell people, listen, shut the hell up. I'm tired of hearing about this. Okay, this is what you need to do. You know that man is living with another woman. Leave him. Move on with your life. You know that woman is cheating on you. You know she had a baby by somebody else. Listen, get yourself together. Get your lawyer. Get a paternity test. Get a divorce and send her on her way. Okay? You know your sister is crazy and she always need money. Stop giving her money and then complaining about having to give her money. Duh. You know your kids are lazy and rude. They disrespectful. Okay, your kids are disrespectful. I'm sick of your badass kids. They say stuff that's just totally inappropriate and wrong. They shouldn't be in adult conversations. Be a parent and stop being a child. That's what we really want to say to people. But we don't want to do that, but that's what we think. So now I want to talk about a couple things to kind of recognize about people that are always dropping negative stuff on you. And like I said earlier in the show, one of the biggest issues that you're going to get if you're always engaging in people who are bringing you negative conversations, negative problems, they're dumping it on you. They walk away and say, oh, I feel better. I talked about it. They feel better for a couple hours or a couple minutes. Then they're right back telling it to somebody else. They just go from person to person, spreading their depression, they're just that spirit of depression, that spirit of negativity, that spirit of anxiety. They just go from person to person, spreading it. But you don't need to carry that. So that's why I say it's very important that you recognize some things about people when they are bringing this stuff to you, because you hold these conversations, you get on the phone, you call your sister, your brother, your husband, your wife. You start, and then you become a participant in it where you're spreading it around too. And the funny thing is, you be sitting somewhere talking to somebody who wasn't even with you when you had that conversation with the person, and somebody else is bringing the conversation back to you again. And something should click in your mind like, didn't I just have this conversation? But here's the thing. Here are some tips to kind of recognize some things about a person. And these next two tips I'm going to give you kind of let you know, like, I might need to just shut this conversation down. I might need to just leave this conversation on a positive note, leave them with a positive thought, and walk away. And the first one is, if the individual is not listening to your suggestions, they're not open to advice that they can act on or willing to act on. And if you just constantly listening to them, constantly letting them ramble about the situation, and you're making suggestion after suggestion, it's been 6-7 months. They never followed up on any of your suggestions. They're not acting on any of your suggestions. They just want to talk about it. They prefer to ramble on about their circumstances rather than find a workable solutions. Then you're sort of enabling them because they're not going to do anything about it. And you're walking away, you probably done some research and looked up some stuff to pass off to them. Recognize when a person is not willing to change their circumstances. They like being in that circumstance, that situation. So recognize that and be careful about giving your time and your energy to a situation that you can't change. And the person who's bringing it to you and laying it on your shoulders is not making any effort to change it themselves. They're not trying to do anything to change it. Every time they tell you the story, it's the same old story about how they're hurting, how they're being mistreated, how it's so unfair. They don't understand. They want to find a good woman. They want to find a good man. But the person is always something. But they're doing nothing to change their situation. That is one of the first signs that you might need to just kind of like step away from these conversations, because if you're, like I said, you're letting them talk to you, then you're calling and telling your husband or your wife, and you're taking this stuff home, and it does no good, because after a while, you're going to find out that you and your spouse are going to start bickering about something, and you don't even know why. It's because they probably had negative stuff at work. You've had negative stuff on your job. So when y'all get together, that negative energy is still on you. So that's why you may need to just walk away if that person is not looking for really solution-based conversations to help them or advise them on how to fix their situation. Next, when you refer them to a resource, such as a licensed counselor, a church resource source, such as maybe talking to a pastor, talking to a deacon, maybe one of the motherboard members, maybe offering them like, hey, I recommend this life coach, but they continue to decline and not follow up. They're only looking for sympathy. They don't want help. They want a cheerleader for them in their situation to encourage them to stay in their troubled world. They want somebody to actually feel sorry for them in their troubled world. They feel like they are becoming a part of life by being in this troubled world. That's their life. They want to be in this troubled world, and they want you to be their cheerleader in that troubled world. Oh, you stay in that trouble, girl, because you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. You strong for staying in that bad situation. Oh, you strong, brother, for not doing nothing and staying in that bad situation. Yeah, I give you credit. That's what they want. If you find a person, once again, that's not willing to take advice, that's not willing to take advantage of resources being offered, but they just keep bringing up the same thing, they just looking for a cheerleader to cheer them on to stay in that situation and give them a false sense of strength, a false sense of being prosperous, a false sense of being an overcomer. When they have overcame nothing, they're simply wallowing in their situation, and they want you to be their cheerleader to help them stay there. Next is they really just want to debate, and they lack confidence, and because they are unclear about their own life. Now, you'll find this especially with people who don't believe in God, and they see somebody who does believe in God, or they know believes in God. They always want to have that some type of debate. It's just, they talk to that person, but it's always contradicting everything they say, everything they do. They got a contradiction for it. So they're not looking for answers. They're not looking for workable solutions to their thoughts or their issues. They just want somebody to debate about. That's it. They have no real clarity about their beliefs or what they're trying to do. So their idea is, if I can just debate somebody and turn them, then that'll convince me that I'm the right person. Or if they can't be turned and they can't turn my mind to what they believe, then all of a sudden, I'm right still. So this person is somebody who just feeds off of chaotic debates just to keep going. And it brings nothing to the table for you. It brings nothing to the table at all that's going to benefit you, that's going to uplift you. You just walk away feeling frustrated and just de-energized over something that you really can't control, a conversation that oftentimes you really don't want to be a part of, because they're not looking for understanding. They're not looking to try to gain knowledge. They're just simply looking to debate. They're looking for conflict. That's it. Next is learn when to cut conversations short. The worst thing is to engage in a long, drawn-out conversation and walking away feeling like you just wasted your time and breath. Have you ever done that? Have you ever just sat there and talked to somebody who say they had a problem? You're talking to them for like 30 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you just come to realize that this was a waste of time. You ever been on the phone with somebody for like 2 hours? Your Bluetooth is hurting your ears. You had the phone against your ears. Your face is starting to sweat where the phone is. You tired. You don't even want to talk no more. And you just get to the point like, And they ask you, so what you think I should do? You know what? Whatever the fuck you want to do. Just do whatever shit. Because you're so sick and tired of hearing it. You get to the point to where you realize that you just literally wasted a good amount of time talking to somebody that really was not even listening to anything you say. They just wanted to run their mouth. They have been better off just looking in a mirror and talking to themselves, because basically that's the only voice and only thoughts they want to hear. So they can tell them, look in the mirror and just talk to yourself if you're not going to listen to anything I got to say. But that's just some of the situations. So learn when to cut conversations short when you realize that it's not coming up to any solutions. Nothing is progressing about the conversation. If this is a conversation y'all had every day or once a week or twice a week for the past 3 to 4 weeks, they're telling the same old story with no progression. Learn when to walk away. Keep your peace, keep your positive energy, and move on. And the biggest thing I want to say is don't carry these people problems with you. Often, people will have these interactions, and like I said, they're called their wife, their husband, their boyfriends, their cousin, aunts, uncles, and they'll dump all this stuff on other people. And then you're going to start to notice that these people who love to complain and talk about problems in their lives, now you're doing the same thing. And you're going to find that people who want to stay positive, they don't want to talk to you. They'll say hi and bye. When you walk up, hey, what's going on? Okay, let me go do this. Because they don't want to be around that negative conversation. They don't want to engage in it. Or when you try to talk, they rush you off the phone. They stop answering your phone calls. So don't carry these problems with you. And like I said, do not push this negative stuff in your home. Don't push it on your family, your friends. Learn to let it go. Let it go. And one thing I always tell people, if you feel like you've engaged in a conversation that's negative, and this is my most important thought right here, is learn to cleanse yourself of negative conversations. Find you a positive motivational video. Find you some positive uplifting music. But don't pass that spirit of negativity on to others. Learn to cleanse yourself of it. Find something that's going to put new thoughts in your mind. Find something that's going to wipe that out your mind. And the longer you engage in that conversation, the longer it's going to take to kind of get that negativity off of you. So that's why I say, learn to recognize when these conversations are not progressing and it's just negativity, and you starting to feel that weight on your shoulder. You're starting to feel anxiety. You starting to feel heavy. You know what I'm saying? So learn to cleanse yourself of negativity. You can either start praying, do a prayer when you get done. Listen to some positive music. Listen to some motivational videos on YouTube. Find some good comedy stuff just to make you laugh, to change that negativity, the spirit that people are throwing on you, that negative energy. Get rid of it. Cleanse yourself of it and don't take it home. Hey, we'll be right back with the final thought. You are listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show.
Don't even think about it. We got more straight talk just for you.
Hey, this your man Reggie here. Are you looking for some fresh new music? Are you looking for an artist that's got that positive vibe and that positive flow, that knows how to flow lyrically? Then man, you need to check out Tone G Music with songs like Buzzing, Good Deeds, and Pick Up the Phone. Now these songs are available on Apple Music and other digital platforms. Tone G brings that positive vibe in everything he does. And the music he brings with the reggae style and that smooth lyrical flow, oh, you know what to do. Y'all check out Tone G Music.
Are you ready for the straight truth? Reggie, what's the final word for today?
Hey everybody, thank you for sticking with us after the break. Listen, I know that it's very hard to walk away, especially from people that you care about. I know it's hard to kind of not sit there and listen to the 40 minutes or hour or 30 minutes of ranting or venting that they're doing. Sometimes you feel like you're helping them, but ultimately, if they are not willing to help themselves, if they're not willing to take the advice that's being offered to them, if they're not willing to take advantage of resources or seek out resources, then you're just being filled with negative energy that these people are passing along. And I understand sometimes people get into situations to where they feel like they can't see a way out. But you'll never be able to see your way out of a situation if you're not trying to work towards an exit. If you're not looking for a resolution, then the situation will never change. You can talk to everybody on your job. You can call every family member, every friend. But unless you're willing to put in the work to make your situation better, it's not going to change. And many of us who do and are open to listening to other people because we want to be an ear if they need it. We want to be somebody that they can kind of relieve some of that inner pressure and, anxiety that they're feeling. We have to be careful because you can absorb so much of that you're going to have a weight on your shoulders and you don't even know why. You're going to feel down and you don't know why. You're going to feel depressed and you don't know why. You're going to go home and you're just not going to be in a good mood and you're just not going to know why. And many of the time it's because subconsciously you have absorbed other people's negative energy that they have passed on because you've heard so much negativity throughout the day that now it's all just sitting on you. You may find yourself restless at night and can't sleep. You go to work thinking you just want to sit at your desk, or you may go home thinking you just want to relax. But the worst thing is to be in a position to where you feel like you have to avoid people. That's why I really ask you, and I want you to consider using some of those tips, just recognizing when conversations are progressive, when people are actually looking for workable solutions for their problems, and when people are just want to live in their problems and just want to drag you into it. And they want you to cheer them on about being strong when they're doing nothing to change their situation. Conserve your energy and learn to find some positive cleansing ways of just cleansing any of that negativity that's around you. Get away from those negative conversations. Learn to break away in a respectful way, but learn to leave them with a positive thought. Because leaving them with a positive thought is one way you can kind of help take some of that negativity off of you. And hopefully that positivity will kind of rub them to kind of move them to do something about their situation. But that's what I want to tell you guys, man, because I understand we all go through things and we all are out and we deal with people, whether it's on the phone or face to face, where people are constantly dropping their problems on you. But be mindful about the negative energy that you are consuming from other people, especially people not willing to work on their problem, especially people who just want to hear themselves talk. They don't take advantage or they don't take advice from others. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Protect your mental well-being, that when you go home, you can have peace and positivity in your home. Hey, thank you for checking out the show, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. As always, I appreciate everybody. Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Alabama, Birmingham. I see y'all, baby. Hey, I appreciate everybody checking out the show, man, no matter where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Georgia, Florida. You know what I'm saying? Much respect. Canada, shout out to you. I see you. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody, man. I really appreciate all the support. I thank everybody for tuning in. Y'all go on the website, man. I'm updating the website. Leave a comment. Y'all tell me where y'all from. You know what I'm saying? Tell me where you're from. I'm going to shout you out because I want to show you that I acknowledge you and I appreciate you. Peace. See you next Friday.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show with Reggie Maddox. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our podcast to your friends and colleagues. And please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Be sure to check out our archive section on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and YouTube. Join us next time for another edition of the Simply Straight Talk Show.